Welcome to another episode of the Journey Up podcast. I'm your host, Tyrus Duncan, and the Journey Up podcast is a storytelling podcast where we take a journey from the person's lowest moment that they've ever experienced in life. We talk about how they were able to transcend. And today we have a very special guest. He is the CEO of Stack Over Shine. He's actually just a pretty great person. Every time I see him, I'm like, man, look at that brother. He makes me smile. And I'm sure a lot of people can say the same. Today we have Keanu Wharton.
How you doing? I'm Stack Over Shine Zone, the philosopher, the Don, Keanu Wharton.
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
It's been a great week.
It's been a great week. Tell me why. Why has it been a great week?
And Monday, Valentine's was great. She said yes, that was pretty awesome. I'm like, oh, thank you. Then, Tuesday, not even Tuesday, it was just my book, my memoir. The publishers like my memoir and I'm publishing. They want to go forward with it. I'm like, oh, that's another.
That's fire.
Indeed. Wednesday, I got a call from work, P30, which I work out of. They said they wanted me as the Spotlight Member of the Month. I thought I was in trouble. Like, hey, did I not pay this? I do something? Not really, when nominate you as the Spotlight Member of the Month. Appreciate that. Thank y'all. We graduated from the cohort Wednesday night. That was pretty fun. Then Thursday, then Friday. It's been a good week. It's one of them weeks that I feel like I didn't have to worry about nothing this week at all.
We can't take those weeks for granted.
Yeah,
it's too often we be having to worry about too much.
Yeah, it's one of them weeks like, hey, this is life. I'm happy where I'm at right now.
That is what's up for sure. Before we get too deep into conversation, I have a tradition on the show to where I ask people a question from my card game called We're Not Really Strangers. Have you heard of that game before?
Nah.
It's pretty cool. It's a compilation of questions for strangers to get to know each other. We really already know each other, but I think it's a pretty good thing still to have like a conversation over a question. Do you think the image you have of yourself matches the image people see you as?
Yes.
Dang, that's a great question.
That's a fantastic question.
And you answered that immediately, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes because a big misconception in the small business world, there's a lot of imposter syndrome going on. Like, a lot of people don't put on masks in front of the masses when on the stage, but then behind the scenes there's something else. And with me, I purposely kind of went against that narrative, fake it till you make it, to just be my authentic self. And, freedom of choice, but I'm not free of consequences. Don't get twisted. Some people didn't like it. I got canceled a few times. We talked about that. We talked about that at one point.
His brother swear he done got canceled a few times.
A few times. People were like, oh, Lord, he's in here. Hey, you got 30 seconds on the mic, sir. So I think with me, I tell everybody now, this is me outside of work and in work. And this is who I am. I was like, I think growing up, school made you try to shape who you are to be for the rest of society. And I always no, I kind of want to be like this. And I think parents trying to make you do that as well. Then you kind of go against no, this is where I want to be. So when I achieved that mental, myself, and I translate into business, I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards me. Hey, you just so real and authentic. I don't know what y'all talking about. You're just so funny. I'm be serious when I talk. I don't see nothing funny about what I'm saying here. So with that card, I can just say, yeah, that's me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For me, I can't say the same. I think I'm a lot harder on myself than what people view me as. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people hold me to a lot higher regards than I hold myself to because I know the potential that I could reach if I was to take things more serious. And if I was to approach things from a place of focus and clarity, I could be so much better than I currently am. And I think from the outside looking in, a lot of people look at me and they hold me to a high standard. And they're like, you carry yourself very well. You always seem to be at peace. You produce a lot of good things. And in my head, I'm like, but I should be producing more. And I could be producing more. And I don't think it's necessarily imposter syndrome for me, but for me, it's like
perfectionist, maybe.
Yeah, in a way, but also the standards that I have set for myself are so high. I don't know if I will ever reach them. But I know that in my head, I'm nowhere near close, and I'm not working nearly hard enough to be on pace to reach where I'm supposed to get. And I know that everything happens in due time. And if you continue going through the motions, eventually you would gain the strength. But I definitely could give myself more grace. And I think other people may do a better job at giving me grace than I do for myself.
I agree. Sometimes you gotta just smell the roses real quick.
Yeah.
And that's everybody, because I'm a chronic perfectionist at times. Like, sometimes my brothers, they got to remind me, bro, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I make a mistake, I deeply criticize myself on being careless.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite movie quotes is, it said, women and children can be careless, but not men. And
Can't do it.
My father raised me like that. You can't be careless.
Yeah.
So then my mother, like, hey, it has to be. And that's who I got it from, because she was an overachiever. So she raises to be, hey, they want 100%, they want 100%, you get 110.
Yeah.
So at times I can be like that as well, but I learned to sometimes it is what it is. I gotta leave it, let it be, and move on from it.
Yeah, and that's one of the best things to do is just learn, let things be. We can't control everything. And when you start to try to control more than you can, you start to stress.
Exactly.
So it's like, let go of the thought of control, and that's where you start to be free. Hold on to things that you can't, and you'll continue to be in bondage. So I'm working towards letting go of the thought and the actuality of the need to control certain things, because freedom comes after letting go.
Stoicism approach, yes.
Yeah. So give the people a little bit of history on Keanu. Like, who is Keanu for the ones who don't know?
So Keanu Wharton is, I said this on a previous show, a child who was drafted into a war that he didn't ask for. And he just came out of it. Hey, it is what it is. Like with myself, I'm born in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm the child of Shakria Johnson and Clyde Wharton. Born in Methodist Hospital, actually. Most people are born there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I work next to the building. I was here 25 years ago. I'm from the Far East. And, like with me, I wrote a book on my life. Now I'm trying to recount my life a little bit to answer that question. I think I'm just an individual in the masses who just letting people know, hey, it's okay to be yourself. Me in general, growing up, I was always raised to question things. My mother was militant. Her mother was in the Black Panthers, so we had that militant, strong household. And I was always kind of more so into, my favorite hobby is history. So my cousin beat Call of Duty too, and I got into the war stuff and coolness of that. And I like to draw. I like culture. I like just learning stuff. I don't know what it is.
I was going to say, what is it about culture that you like?
It's just the biggest thing I think people don't understand is the concept of time is crazy in culture and history, and learn that one individual can change the course of everything. And like even with us as young Black men, learning our culture, how to take shape and form of things, what we do. But then moving out of our box of learning stuff, understand the world is a bigger place than Indianapolis, Indiana, United States, the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
And you just meeting different people, understand who they are. Like, I don't know, I just like to learn. It's just, I can't explain it. I'm an autodidactic,
Mm-hmm.
I would say my full identity probably prospered when I started reading more when I was 19. Growing up where we came from, you had to be tough, hard, and everything. People were kind of afraid to be themselves. And, been there, done that. Then at one point, I think I asked my mentor for the art of war or something, and that's what just carried this chain of events of me reading books. Then he told me to read the 48 Laws of Power, and Arthur Robert Greene led me to other books, led me to Malcolm X, led me to over here, and then now I have fun with reading because I'm learning something. I learn something about the world. Like, I'm the standard person. If we just send somewhere, I'll get on Wikipedia and look up just a random article.
Yeah.
Like, biggest platypus ever in Australia. Like, I'll just sit there and read about that. And, you know, most people don't bring that up, but that's me. Mm-hmm. Or if I see an old building, let me look at this building. I'll just Wikipedia article. Let me see what was going on with this building back in the day. Or I'll go to like war museums or just museums and stuff and just see things. I go to the Children's Museum. I just bring my godchild with me, so it's not weird that a grown man is here by himself. He's just here for on the ride. This is really for me. I just want to see this again. But yeah, that's just really me. You know, people dubbed me a lot. Like Devin called me the philosopher for real. So this Machiavellian diabolical person. Then my brother called me someone out of the ordinary. When our parents met, he's like, nah, bro. He's always knew you was gonna be something when you got older. He said, because when our parents met, his father was more like strict on discipline and everything, while I was the one always questioned. So why are you doing this? As a 5-year-old, my brother would be like, you would ask questions that would mess with the whole authority system in here. Because I just knew you was going to be something. As I got older, I always got in trouble because I always kind of just
asking questions,
question things that why are you messing with the system?
That's what I got in trouble a lot for that as a kid in school and at home. Like a teacher or authority would say something, I was like, why? That doesn't make sense. One of my earliest memories was in kindergarten. My teacher told me to tell somebody sorry. I was like, why would I tell them sorry if I'm not actually sorry? And she said, well, sometimes you have to do things just because. I knew right there. I said, oh, my goodness. Little 5-year-old tires in my head. I was like, where am I at?
And, you know, and that, it'd be like that, like, even at work, like, the stuff they be doing at work, it just baffles me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's neither here or there. Some people just, not everybody is meant to lead or to question.
Exactly.
The greatest leaders are the ones who ask the right questions. And sometimes there's no such thing as a right question, but it's just a question.
A spark that can cause a chain of events. And I said, that's all it takes. It only takes a spark. I said, the split of the church back then, Martin Luther, why do I got to do this? Cause a whole situation.
You'd be surprised because, I mean, questioning for me, what it does is, I talked about this on the previous podcast, the one with Paradise. What it does is see how strong whatever the idea that somebody is talking about is. So it's like, let's actually see how strong this idea that you're trying to convince me of is. Not enough people ask questions. There's just a lot of people are doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing, and it's probably not beneficial to them or their lives. So I'll ask a question. One of my older friends, he used to always say, if you ask a question, you may be a fool for a second. But if you never ask a question, you could be a fool for a lifetime. So it's like, ask the question.
Ask some questions.
You might be that fool just for that second, but would you rather continue to be a fool for a lifetime by never asking the question?
And have the people who make fun of you, whatever, they're mad they didn't ask the question. Because, like, our job implement this new policy that I just didn't really agree with. So I brought up the question. Now I had to dumb it down, make sense.
You got to make it make sense.
Yeah, I had to say it as an unbiased way. They don't know that I feel some type of way about this. Mm-hmm. And they explained it. Well, this is why we're doing this. Okay. Then my coworker was like, you didn't even ask the question correct or not. You didn't ask at all.
Ain't no correct way.
Exactly.
For me, and I'm like I said, I'm learning to let go of trying to find the reason of why. But a lot of times, especially someone telling me to do something, I need to know why. Because there are so many different things I could be doing. You tell me to do this, I get into it at work all the time with my boss. He's like, look, Tyrus, you just have to, he calls it disagree and commit. I said, this is not me committing. I'm going to do what you told me to do because I need to get this money. But this is not me committing. This is me submitting. And that's not the same thing. Most of the time when you commit by agreeing. That's what commitment is most of the time. It's like I'm committing to this action because I agree with what we're doing. But I'm not committing. I'm submitting.
Submitting is just accepting.
Submitting is just saying, it is what it is. I'm just going to do what's asked for me, I guess.
And I think that separates the free will and the people who just don't know that you're following this system.
Yeah.
And I tell people, like, especially around politics time, you're a free thinker, but you have all these signs about this politician all in your yard. That's not a free thinker.
It's not. We're not gonna get into free will.
Free will is a crazy thing.
That's a crazy concept.
It's
a crazy.
I just tell
crazy
people, go
concept.
watch The Matrix. That's the best I can do for you. Please just go watch that.
It's a crazy concept. What's the best thing that you've ever read in a book?
The best thing, oh gosh. No, I didn't read 53 books. Hold on, now I got to think on it. The best thing I have read in a book.
Or the most impactful thing? The thing that hit you?
I wouldn't say it comes from two books. The 48 Laws and Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. So, like, from the 48 Laws, it was more so impactful for me because these are, first of all, it's a controversial book.
Yeah, where's that?
So you got it on you. When we bring up that book, a lot of people side eye you. Oh, you're a manipulator. That's all you got from that book. That's all you got from that. And I try to tell people it's actually how humans work.
Man,
and they don't want to hear that. And I think Robert Greene explained it best that you got people who knows what it's talking about. People who are aware, but they refuse to acknowledge they're actually doing that. And I think with me was just understand, like, dang.
Funny thing, manipulation, I was literally having this conversation last night. Manipulation is not a negative word.
It's not.
It's another word for influence. And we look at influence as if, oh, that's so great. Everyone wants to be influencers. But truly, manipulation means the same thing. It's to change the way that somebody thinks. That has a negative connotation because a lot of times it's against the will of somebody.
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, I am a master manipulator. whether you like it or not, whether you want to accept it or not.
Let's be real. Yeah.
And me telling you that I'm a master manipulator is me taking off the veil of doing it in malpractice or bad context. Exactly. I'm not trying to get or take advantage of you, but I'm going to tell you straight up, after a conversation with me, you're going to walk away thinking and feeling different.
Yeah, and when I was manager of the movie theaters, like, I didn't force no one to do anything. I tell them, I gave you a nice persuasion, and you just did it anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, you might get mad at me, and I tell you, well, you can clock out.
I mean, but I do that. I do that at work all the time, even still. I'm like, you are free to go. I'm not forcing you to be here.
Yeah.
This is slavery. I say, you can clock out right now.
Clock out.
My favorite thing to tell people when they start complaining to me, I'm like, look, the same door that you walked in this morning is still unlocked for you to walk out of. Now, that's master manipulator right there. Because they really can't say nothing against it.
I just laid out your options for you.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can either do that or this is going to happen.
And manipulation is getting somebody to think and to challenge their own judgments.
And parents do it too. Like I told one person, you tell your kids Santa Claus is real so we can be good, right? That's manipulation. You fall for these holiday sale big lies over here, manipulation by the market. And another thing I read in a book too, how it was talking about ads and everything. They went to Congress back then and say ads don't influence people. Why do so many people pay so much money to put an ad on there? Especially during the Super Bowl. 7 seconds. You pay so much money to put that out there. And me and you see something we both have in common. Oh, I'm going to go there. I saw it on TV. I said, that's why people ask, where'd you see this from? How did you hear about us?
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of times it's subconsciously. That's where most manipulation happens. It's like when people are not paying attention. And next everybody walking in the same direction until somebody say, why are we walking in this direction? Why are we going over there?
Exactly.
We should go this way. It's like, but they said we have to go this way. Who is this they that everybody always talks about?
Yeah, who is it? You got to start asking these questions now.
They're the master manipulator.
Exactly, and
yeah,
that would be the first impact. The second impact was from stoicism, like we just said. Letting things go you can't control. Focus on things you can't control. I think that was the best impact on my life because it makes you just, whatever happens. And we can't force people to do what we want them to do. and it's best to let go than hold on. Like I've seen a lot of people, a lot of my friends with relationships or jobs and everything. Like if you keep holding on, you're gonna self-destruct. And it made me who I am today because like even with the movie theater, they used to tell me, the old lady I told you about who I don't like, you're not gonna do this for SOS and everything. You can't do that. What makes you think I can't? You don't even know me, ma'am. If you quit, how are you gonna pay bills? I'll be all right. I will be fine. I was happy for them 2 months. Oh, was behind on bills and everything. Did not care. I said, because I understand money's fake. So I just moved on with my life after that. And I think that goes in the subconscious, like we said. A lot of, especially older generation, they're stuck on that. Like, I'm big on, if I mess up, tell me where I mess up at. You don't have to dumb it down for me, put this fear on me. Bro, just somewhere I mess up at. Like, love the lady that she would just tell me, we might get fired. How you going to pay bills? Ma'am, I will be okay. This job, they don't care if I sleep under a bridge. I learned that during COVID when I woke up without no job. Can't rely on them. Mm-hmm. And that has like really separated me from a lot of people because whatever happens.
I mean, essentially what you're saying is to live your life led upon faith instead of fear.
Exactly.
And a lot of people will try to manipulate you into believing in fear instead of faith.
Exactly.
They will convince you or try to ask the question of what if a bad thing happens instead of cheer you on and hope, what if this good things happen?
Exactly. And usually individuals, they get surrounded by fear more than, well, this actually did happen. And, I tell people, always got a plan if it don't go right.
Yeah.
And
even if you don't.
Let's not focus on the fears of what you think about is going to happen because now you're not doing certain things because of this fear. It's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you got to just take a leap and say, okay, it's whatever at this point.
And it's like, what is a leap of faith? It's like I'm jumping. I don't know where I'm going to land, but I have hope that I'm going to land somewhere good.
Exactly.
And it's way better to live a life led upon faith instead of fear. I always say that they both come from the mind of the unknown. So it's like, are you thinking positively, which is faith, or are you thinking negatively, which is fear?
And I think humans have lost that because
we've been manipulated too.
Yeah. We've been back before society started taking form. Like early humans used to just, I don't know what's over there, but there's land over there. Like before colonization and all that, it was just when humans were spreading out of Africa.
Yeah.
We don't know what's over there, but there's birds and land over there.
Well, let's go see.
Let's go see it.
And the true innovators, the true people who make differences in our lives are the ones who see the land, the uncharted territory, and say, let's go see. Exactly. And we need more of the let's go see instead of, let's just stay here. I'm scared to go over there. And if you're standing there because you have a strong foundation and you already have a strong surroundings, then good for you. Please do stay there. Do what you got to do. But the ones who are called into the wild to develop and to create the nations are the ones who have to get up and go.
Exactly.
Moses, unfortunately, some of the people I see the most that are led with fear are the ones who claim to believe in Christ.
Which is insanity.
Essentially.
Yeah.
It's not just that, but it's contradictory.
Exactly.
Because like to say that you believe and trust in a God who tells you so many times to fear not, but you live your life led upon fear is going against the God that you claim to trust.
And I probably because I just finished Exodus again, it was like when they crossed the Red Sea. Mm-hmm. He did all of that, and they still got over there and didn't believe God was real.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got to tell people, Moses was more nice because they would have been left in the wilderness. But
you get how people will influence and try to get you to, like, even with Moses knew. Like, he walked with God. He saw God. Like, he would have conversations with God, all this. And God would tell him something, and then the people around him would still complain. And then God was like, listen, Moses, I'll tell you right now, brother, don't you hit that rock 2 times. Because if you do, we're going to have some problems. Moses ain't listened to God, and he listened to the voice of the people. because he was manipulated essentially because of the people. He's like, I have to tend to how they feel. And he was going with the feelings instead of what he knew he was supposed to do. And too often we go with the feelings of the people. We go with the people saying, you might lose your job and you can't do this with Stack Over Shine, although you already felt a calling to do it. So it's like, if you listen to those people versus the call that you feel, good luck.
And then you have to separate people who's like Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron was there too. Aaron's not backing up Moses on none of this.
Yeah.
So it's like, now you gotta, hey bro, you gotta kick rocks, please.
Right. You're not a call to purpose.
But when we're here,
you're gonna disappear into the shadows.
About. Y'all, let's make this golden calf now.
Yeah.
And I think that's essentially like with people, and they get scared, and I'm not scared of anything, and they throw in that arrogant word at you so quickly. You're conceited. And I was like, I think you confuse conceited with confidence.
They have.
And I tell people, if I was conceited, I wouldn't even entertain this conversation with you about like how that sounds incorrect. As I see how you act. Like I tell my coworker, like when we talk to our bosses, you be too busy trying to be petty back with them. I tell them this is what it needs. I probably look. I don't like how you talk to me like that. Listen, I don't. And that was another thing with my boss movie thing. I told her I didn't care about that title. Do not care about none of this title, like at all. I feel disrespected. We're going to talk about it. And I'm still doing my job. Yeah. You keep trying to forward. I'm this. I'm your manager. I prefer you say yes, ma'am, to me. Ma'am, my mother passed away. That's not for I say ma'am too. Now, like I said, we're not doing this. Right. Here. Now, I take the consequence of that. I became public enemy number 1 to the corporation of that. Like, okay. All right. This is how they're doing it now.
He said public enemy number 1.
Yes. Public enemy number 1. That was... That was a time, and like y'all said, when y'all saw Regalson was closing down downtown, it was one of them. Yes.
This brother is you're a silly one. You are a silly one. Yeah. Let me restart these cameras. We good. We back.
So I think with that, like even when I did that, it kind of represented, like you said, I walk with faith with that. I knew the whole repercussions of me doing everything, that it can lead to me losing my job. It can alienate. Why are you not submitted to what we have here? And a lot of people don't do that. They accept the program for what it is. They might moan, cry, complain, everything, and I'm just not the one that did it. And I look back on, my mother raised me to always fight against what you believe in, and I never accepted that. This is why when I get pulled over to the police, hey, what you pull me over for, sir? And it kind of goes back into, especially with a young black man, like in slavery. And I tell people, it's been a lot of slavery votes that happen. They just don't talk about it. Because why would you want to encourage people to do that more? It's like manipulation. You feel me? Like, and I tell people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, all the civil rights legends, they represent people who question the status quo, which made them dangerous. Because you got people who accept it is what it is. This is the law. Yeah, law is made up. All laws are made up. And back to contradiction in religion, a lot of people who say, oh, you should have followed the law, they tell Jesus the same thing. Yeah. And they don't want to hear that. I say, yeah, you wouldn't be with Jesus. You would have been a person. Put him on that cross. He's disagreeing with that.
You'd be surprised how many people who claim to be followers would be the same people very well who say stone him. He's going against what we're supposed to do.
Exactly. And a lot of people just don't understand that. And like, there's a few of us who will fight for it, and then I personally don't believe as in I can live a terrible life. It's okay because I'm going to heaven. No, I don't want to live that. Yeah. So I'm going to live forever. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And I got to debate with my friend. You got to think about the slaves. They had them to faith in this free. No. Some of us left and came back with guns. That we had a war about that. Did you forget that part of it? Like, that's not what happened. I was like, Moses, back to that story.
Since the beginning, it's always come to the point to where someone has gotten sick enough to say, you know what, y'all not about to keep treating us like this. So now it's up.
Exactly.
And to get to that point. But, I mean, what keeps us so far these days is we don't really have trust or faith or hope. We just have emotions and we want to cry and talk about that's not fair. Things are not
TikTok
fair.
with people with the same opinions.
Yeah, and
I'm
go
going to
go
like
on
it and share this.
go on
this show.
X, on Twitter or Instagram, and everybody have a meeting online about how things are not fair and everybody's racist and everybody is mean and we don't get any progress
At all.
And frankly, I'm tired of seeing it. As you can see, we could go and philosophize for a long time. But we all know that the reason of the journey up is to talk about the lowest moment of your life and how you're able to overcome it. So take me to the lowest moment that you've ever experienced. And let's talk about how you're able to overcome it.
November 1st, 2022. It was the debut of the first time I was on a podcast show. And that morning, Takeoff was killed. Yeah, it was Takeoff. And later on, my girlfriend of 7 years was killed. So that was just a whole, what? Like, I look back, I was doing things I wouldn't usually do. By the time I was grieving. It wasn't like bad, like I'm drinking, because I don't drink or smoke. Like I told you the other day, nah, bro, I deal with raw emotions over here. I don't suppress nothing over here.
What Kendrick said, you ain't felt grief till you felt it sober.
Exactly. That's a good one. Like, nah, when you feel it sober, it's a different type of grieving. So that happened. Like, I was just in a daze. I didn't shed no tear. I didn't do anything. But until my blood was boiling. People asking me, is he cool? He ain't shed no tear. My family, that's the one who reads books. Make sure he's straight. Because my brother's like, you see the books he read? Where he at? Like, everyone was looking for me. And, I think it wasn't until, like, she was in the ground that I broke. And then grieving, I try to tell you, grieving is different each time. Someone passes away naturally, you can process that better. Someone's killed, you go through the vengeance phase, the what if phase, that I can kill this person phase. Like, a lot of was bottled up inside of me. While dealing with an old girl at the movie theaters who took me to corporate because I went to the hospital, then trying to defend why she did it. Someone could have got hurt. Girl, my girlfriend got killed. You think I care about this job during this time? Like, please. And she was one of them. It had to be a pissing contest. Well, I'm going through this. Oh, my God. Like, I just walk away. And then, first I try to take, I need a break from everything just to get myself in order. Beginning of May, I try to do this. May 5th, my home gets raided by the federal agencies. My brother got around the wrong crowd. They raided the home. Father's locked up. Brother's locked up. I got lucky because I went to work early. Or they would have released me. I would have been just through a situation I had nothing to do with. And, seeing them take away my brother when I can't do anything about it, I'm just like, oh, my God. My father's gone. He's with these allegation charges. I just moved back in with him. Trying to buy us a family home, go home trying to set things out. And, the feds, when they raid your house, they tear up everything. They're not putting it back. So I had to house back together one piece at a time. Then on the door, eviction notice. We could summon you to court because apparently this was a drug dealer's house. Oh, my God. Go to court, trying to evict me and everything. I didn't have no lawyer. I stood on my own against these 5 other lawyers. Listen, I had nothing to do with that. I'm willing to pay money, pay the rent to be there. Words are powerful. They took that, you want to pay? Well, your father owed us rent that he didn't pay. You got to pay the rent that you're going to pay for next month and top of the deposit. Oh, yeah, you got to pay the window that the police broke too. Okay, anything else? Our legal fees. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. So I'm just stressing during this time. Father's called me, figuring out trying to go on. My brother was young, so he's not understanding. Bro, I'm trying to, home base is under attack right now. We're cussing each other. Hey, bro, quick, get off my phone. Because like I told you did a lot to get where you was at. You should have told me what was going on. I would have helped you out. Still going to work. It's like dealing with the establishment at work. I'm just trying to bottle this all in. And I just kept swiping my card, trying to get things in order. Like, bro, I'm paying for these legal fees. I'm 10 G's in debt now. Trying to hold everything together. And then, I had an anxiety attack. It was around the time of the gala we had a few years back. It kind of just hit me that I'm alone right now. my father locked up, my brother's locked up, my girlfriend 7 years is locked up. We'll start a family with. It's not here. Who that was my other half who I can vent to. I don't drink or smoke, so this is raw emotions. And I had a suicidal episode, and it wasn't what people think. Oh, I was just whatever. I was like, nah, it wasn't like that. It was more so I was looking for a good death. If someone was trying to get on it, let's go. Like I was doing stuff like that, like chasing a good death at this point. If I die, I'm about to fight this dude. Hey, I'll accept that. So if a car hit me, that's cool. You want to fight? Let's squabble. Like, I was on that type of time with it. And I just sat in my room because my great-grandfather went through a similar situation. We were the same age. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is generational trauma like this? He grew up in the Great Depression. His mother died of childbirth with his sister. Then his father got lynched. Then him and his brother went to the war. His brother got killed in the war, and he was sent back home. He was the only sole immediate family member left. So I used to hear stories, so that's why they say as he got older, he just drank to just stare out the window, and they never knew why. And now I understand that, like, nah, so much happened to the man, and we not even talking about what he saw in the war, and he's just not talking about it. And now I understand why my grandfather was named after him. So was my father. And birth-wise, I am Clyde Wharton the fourth, but my father, you're going to be Keanu. We need a new change here. But I carry that with an honor, like, nah, that's honoring my name because I know what that man been through. It's like I can feel that generational. I'm sitting at where he was sitting at 70 years ago when felt he was alone by himself until he met someone who brought him out, which would be his wife, till death's apart. And the Valentine's I told you about, I think it was around that same day. She just called me, have a good week. That's all I need to hear. And it brought me like, nah, bro, I got to remind her who I am real quick. And a lot of people did not know that. 2023, that was our Jordan year. That's when you came to our first team event you've been to. People see me here and all that. I just went in. And I try to explain to people, you can't say we all grieve. No, we don't. We all do not grieve the same. And I didn't got into my brother's like, bro, leave me alone. Don't want to talk. I don't care. And then just around time I got canceled too by the people. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the reason I was so mad because don't tell me, I'm sorry for your loss. And then you cancel me about something that was very idiotic. Because you don't know how black culture actually acts around here. You think you dated one brother so you understand the struggle. No, ma'am. You don't represent me at all. You don't know what I go through around here. And 2024, I got myself together. I started reading more. I used to read like books once a week. 300-page book. I could read that in a weekend. But after like 2022, I kind of was just not focused. My brain was scrambling. By now I realized my brain was rewiring to trauma. It was trying to, how can we move on from this? And my mentor told me, he gave me that energy bus. I read that book and it was just going over, you're the driver of the bus. What you want on the bus is going to happen. Sometimes you got to get rid of the vampires who suck the life out of you. But the thing is, your bus might have a flat tire. It might break down on you, but once you fix that, it's still rolling. And that's life, essentially. Everything we go through in life is a blessing. It shapes who we are. Some of us come from a perfect life, some of us don't. And I tell people, especially in the business when there's like wealth, I said there's 3 ways to achieve wealth. Either born with it, you work for it, or you kill with it. It was something like that. And I was like, that's like really what it is. That shows the different standpoint. Not kill, take it. You take it. And I can honestly say, yeah, I probably did 2 of those. And wasn't born with it, like, not at all. It's like, yeah, but taken from my time growing up in the inner city, in the streets and everything, learning, like, hey, this is what we got to make ends meet. All my grandparents are all on the streets, drug dealers, this and all that, but they have nothing to show for it. So 2024, I learned, now something's got to change. This is a new regime here. My father came home. We had to talk. Sometimes you got to have an adult talk with your parents. Not father and son, not mother and daughter, because they get biased as in, my child's not about to tell me what I need to do. And you have to really sit down with it like, no, we're changing this. We're moving forward with this. And now my father has acknowledge me as my own man. That, yeah, I am your successor. I'll take care of you, my father, but right now, this is what we need to do. I told my brother, too, you guys' decision making has put me in this position. I learned I need to cut that out. That was strictly business between us. But I'm doing it for the greater good for all of us. And if that requires me to get out of my element and do something I'm not going to be proud of later, and that's another thing with people as well. People don't understand the risk you have to take to thrive. They focus on all these leaders, but all them leaders don't talk about the stuff, the times they might not feel proud of. Like, I think when I recommend Malcolm X to somebody, I don't know, he's kind of controversial. What leader ain't controversial, sir?
Right.
I said, we might know this about somebody, but when we look at, he was kind of, I said, the only leader I know who left his reputation intact, regardless of what we know now, is JFK. JFK was so smooth as an individual that no one thought about all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. Now that we know, they still will not drag his name in the streets about it. But I was like, every leader is going to make the decisions. And my old manager, he told me at the movie theater, hey, you got to live with firm and fairness here. You might have to make them decisions when you have to fire people. And, like during COVID, they wanted him to demote me because they was saving back on money. But he told me, no, I called you in. He said, I feel like that's more respectful to tell you that. I'm not going to tell that over the phone because I won't want that over the phone. But this is what they're going to do. But I'll give you a recommendation. Any place you go, any job you go to, just open it down the green one. I give him a recommendation, make you manager. Just let me know. And a lot of people understand, like, I've been in a position where I had to make that decision, like, hey, he ain't cutting it. It is what it is. And even for my brothers or my friends, man, I'm like you when you said, man, F him. I never said F him. But I said, I'm concerned for him as my brother, yes. On the business side, I'm not messing with him right now. When he comes back, I can separate that with him. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't know how to do that. And I feel like in the business world, it intertwines and moves. And with me being at my lowest point, it made me see everything clear. Maybe this is a message God is telling me, get it in order. Get it in order, or all your friends have been around with, they're dropping like flies. People are being locked up. You are still here for a reason, and you have to go through these changes and understand that. So now, pull myself from the lowest to the strongest I've ever been in my life mentally. This is why people think I'm stoic or unapproachable. Or when I go in these rooms, I try to be quiet. Oh, there's the Stack Over Shine person. You've been around me trying to be quiet. Or if me and you talk, we realize the room just get quiet while everybody's looking at us real quick. So 2024, I call that the beginning stages. I'm preparing myself to see if I can do it or not. And I did it. Juneteenth was a hit, events, opportunities. It went from who would Stack Over Shine to why Stack Over Shine not around here, but also telling people it's not a one-man show here. I have also other people. Me, I just have my own flair of how I do things, that I'm the more visible person you see. Mm-hmm. But all of us have our own flavor to the Kool-Aid, that makes it Stack Over Shine what it is. We're a group of collectives. So me individually, 2025, I just knew I was back. As I'm no longer in self-preservation mode. Yeah. This is now it's time for stability and building it brick by brick. Brick by brick, understanding, to my dad, the last kingdom was destroyed, sir. When a kingdom's destroyed from within, it can't be rebuilt. Now, as me, as the leader of the family right now, we're going to rebuild it like this. To the point, I'm not doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for my grandkids. My money will come back to them. They will thank me. So just like your grandfather, when he came here after the war, bought the house, told the family, always stick together because we're Whartons. So we have that elements within how we interact with each other. Every Wharton knows each other. Hey, where he at? The last time Wharton, we need to verify who you are real quick. Our family was known, and my great-grandfather, when he moved up there, they always tell the community, if someone didn't pay rent, we got you. Oh, Mr. Warren, just take the money, man. Someone's talking to my grandmother. Grab a plate. He was like called the Don of his neighborhood. I know, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's hereditary, everybody. It's very hereditary around here. And I realized like that's just been our culture of family. Because I think they'll ask me, bro, you can't be Superman. Everybody, I'm not Superman because if you ask me, I'm gonna help you regardless.
Yeah,
You, my people, you're my brother. So top of 2025, I was like, I'm back.
yeah,
I came from the lowest now to the strongest now. I'm not afraid to hold back anymore. I'm more sophisticated. Like, even in this podcast, like now, like I click my past, I was cussing more, a little bit more. Even though I curse and articulate my words that it made it entertaining, but now it was like learning to cuss less with it. So my words is more hitting. I finished my memoir as in, not as in, oh, look at me, I wrote a book, but as in, I want people to understand I was here and been through these positions so everyone can also learn, like, if he did it, I can do it as well. Influence.
yeah,
Things like that.
yeah. Which is the point. I think you speak and you carry yourself very well. So to your point of going through what you went through, it very well made you who you are today. And I think that's a takeaway for most people, for everybody. You can either look at what you're going through as an obstacle, or you can look at it as a challenge, or you can look at it as an opportunity. And sometimes all three of those could look very similar, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, this is very challenging, or I don't like this obstacle, or I have the opportunity to get stronger, to get polished, to overcome, essentially. Because as we do all go through things, we all have an opportunity to overcome, or that we need to overcome. Some people will take the things that you've been through and let it kill them totally. Like never be able to continue in life again. Never be able to turn it all around. Or if they do, it's very farther down the line. But you were able to do it within 2-3 years. What do you think was the most helpful tool that helped you maintain on the race?
Reading. Reading pulled me out of depression in 2018.
What was it about? What is it about reading?
Learning, I'm not the only one who goes through this. And I think when we look at it like that, you'll have a better option. Well, not option, but a better understanding to grief and stress. That bad things happen to everybody. When we in traffic, we don't notice people in the car. We don't know what everyone's going through. And it pulled me out and understand that people are watching me and they look up to me when they see when I go through. Man, how you withstand that? And I really don't have a clear question for them half the time. I just don't know. And my mentor told me the same thing. He was like, most people your age, he said, how you been through so many deaths at a young age, whatever, you experience that when you're 80 on the average. Like, that's what experience when they get older.
Yeah.
He said, but the fact is, you lost your mother at 16. Your best friend gets killed. Your girlfriend gets killed. This happens. That happens. He said, almost every other year, it was like a death going on around you. He said, you carry yourself well. He said, but that's because you're willing to not accept that.
Yeah.
And I think reading helped me transition out of that. And even now, I work out more as a way to express my own energy out real quick. I go walk, I see things. And this is why I was saying, at times I do want to disappear for a year, just go somewhere out the country. Because I think America gets caught up in the money culture of things that we kind of forget the things that we
miss the value of people.
Yeah. The value of situations.
The value of love. We don't know what value is, essentially.
Exactly.
We attach value to money or to the price tags. But true value doesn't come from something that you can hold in your hands.
Exactly. And that's all I did, like when I go to Africa, not even Nigeria or just somewhere, just live amongst the people.
Yeah.
Like their view of this is great is different than what we think.
Yeah, ours is centered around the abundance of, and most of our problems are due to not the lack, but to the abundance. Mm-hmm. So that I have this, but I want more. The greediness.
Never satisfied.
Yeah. Whereas somewhere like that, to where they're less fortunate, so we call it here, they have more of a acceptance of the things that truly matter, like the love of the family and the sound of music and the joy of dancing. We don't even dance in America because we're too worried about what
other people gonna think.
What other people think of, how they're gonna judge us, how we look. Yeah, the labels that are gonna get attached to us. But it's like the things in life that are free. That's what value is. That's what makes us feel good. The community. You know what I mean? I know you're big on community and you talk a lot about, you make it known every time that you speak, like, hey, everything I do is not just about me. I have a team of individuals that are committed to the same mission that I'm committed to. And that's selfless, more so than what if people want to call ego, self-centered, conceited, all these different things. When someone often carries themselves with confidence, those labels are attached to them.
Exactly.
And they have blurred the line of what confidence is and what what ego, conceitedism, all those different things are. And it's like, nah, you just got the game twisted. This is not that. This is me walking in confidence. Just because I say something with 100% confidence because I believe in what I'm talking about, and I think that I really know what I'm talking about to be true, doesn't mean I'm conceited or arrogant. I'm just saying how I feel. And if you feel shaken by that, it's not a problem with me, but that is a problem with you.
And some people can't digest that.
They can't digest
like,
it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Those people, the conversations will be kept very lightly.
Exactly. And it makes people afraid of them as well. And, that's why I'm big on that. Like, I tell please don't look at me as a role model. Don't idolize me because I'm not perfect. I don't want to mess up and disappoint anybody.
That's the people that we need to look at. This idea, we look at these celebrities or whatever, people with platforms, as if they have this perfect life.
And a lot of people forget they're still people. They're
human beings just like us. And they go through different things, different traumas, and they do it at a much larger scale because we got one person say something bad to us, we feel some type of way. Now imagine thousands. Imagine millions.
Media, they can reach.
I'm talking like, imagine every decision you make, somebody got something to say about, and they don't be nice. Yeah, that's gonna make you turn from Kanye to Kanye to Ye.
Kanye to Ye.
To how you. That's what that does. And even like, I see through him, I see a human being who doesn't know how to deal with the traumas that he suffered and that he's been through. And everyone wants to judge and cast a stone. It's one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible is when Jesus was talking, like, he without sin cast the first stone. And how nobody could throw the stone because all of us have some sin within us. So it's like, better than that, how about we love and how about we encourage? How about we push people to be better? How about we show people love when they're feeling as if they have nothing? How about we just say, hey, I see you? How about we send that text and say, hey, I thought of you today. I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, because what I do is I call my people every Sunday. It's a welfare check. And they tell me, yeah, it's got them to the day when I call them. Yeah, every Sunday.
It's just a reminder that, hey, I matter. Somebody sees me. My life means something to somebody else. And that has nothing to do with no money. That has nothing to do with what you can offer somebody. All that has to do is you being you existing. Because the value that we have as individuals supersedes the value that we think everything that we gain to us attracts or adds.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. Especially where it's usually people who are actually like not selfish at all. They are always attacked or under scrutiny because people can't believe this individual exists.
Yeah. This one.
And I tell people how I got further in the business world, it was no money involved. I met Miss Camila, the lady who I've been to the gala with. I simply bought her parking ticket. Now I'm in VIP rooms with her and everything. She brought me to the game of business heavy. Yeah. And even with P30, now I have business tactics like, where your boss at? I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to them directly so they know who I am. I can tell my story better than the next person.
Right.
And I realize, understand patience with it. It takes far. People do remember, like my father told me, you always remember people who do good to you.
Yeah.
No, he said, you always remember people who do bad to you, but never forget the people who always been good by you. Those are the people you're going to be lifelong friends with. You're always going to take care of them. So every time I achieve, I try to bring a few people with me in that same instance.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. This has been a good conversation. And in closing, I always give people the chance to, tell the people anything that they want to tell them. So, Keanu, if you had a chance to tell those people in that camera right in front of you something, what would you tell them?
Self-determination. I know we live in this weird, crazy time where we don't know what's going on with our life. But I understand a long time ago, if you give power to somebody who can turn off your water, and as in water, as in food stamps, Medicaid, Social Security, you're not independent. And we need to transition as in you're a boss when you can determine all that on your own. Everybody wants to be the boss until it's time to pay for the office of the boss. And that's where it breaks down. Self-determination will take you far in business.
And in life, be determined to do well by yourself. Because if not, somebody else always has the control of how you are.
Exactly. And like I've been saying too, I don't stand on business. I am the business. No one's not standing on me.
That was pretty good. Thank you for this conversation, Keanu. I appreciate everything that you do for the community and for yourself. And just reminding people of the importance of always trying to be better and always striving not just to be better for yourself, but for the community as well. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Journey Up podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. See you next time. Peace.
It's tight.